What's up guys, Barry Gaming here, back with some more Diablo 2 Resurrected, and today we're going to be talking about something that I've seen a lot of questions on, especially on Reddit, on Discord, a lot of misinformation going wrong, or not even misinformation, but lack of information about what polearms you want to hunt for your Act II Mercenaries. Now, most all of these we're going to talk about today are 4 sockets, because 4 sockets, I mean, every rune word you want has 4 sockets. You got Insight, you got Infinity, you got Pride. Everything you want is essentially 4 socketable. The second you get something that's not 4 socket, the value severely drops. So today we're going to be talking about those premium polearms you want to be hunting for. Number 1, you definitely want them ethereal. Number 2, you want them 4 socketed. But how do you know how much they're worth, and why are they worth what they are worth? Because I know a lot of people out there are probably going to scratch their head and be like, wait a minute, Barry, you're trying to tell me great pole axes or something I should be picking up? Yes, absolutely. So let's jump right into it. So number 1 to talk about, you only want to be picking up elite polearms. Anything below elite, exceptional, normal, they're just not going to have the value unless they might necessarily be for, like, you know, low level dueling or something like that if they're using it. This is pretty much more for like an end game style setup. So here is the list of them. Well, the reason why you never see anybody picking up ogre axes is because, well, they can only have a max of 3 sockets. That completely kills it. 3 sockets, not great, not good. Don't even bother. We're moving on down. We have the Colossus Vulge. So the Colossus Vulge is essentially the cheapest 4 socket you can get. There are some major downsides to him. The Vulge, they're very slow. They're not really that great range on them either. They are the discount version that most people get. Like for myself, I have a Pride pole arm for a mercenary. Pride doesn't give any enhanced damage or anything, so he's literally just a stat stick. I just threw it in a CV because it's the cheapest option. You don't have to really worry about them doing damage. I'm going to take care of it. But for a lot of people out there, if you're a sorceress, if you're a paladin and you need your mercenary to deal with cold immunes, magic immunes, you're going to want them to be able to pump out some damage themselves. And depending on the rune word, you might have crushing blow, and lifesteal is another important thing. So speed does matter. Now, Thresher is a nice, very speedy weapon. Thresher is one of the best out there. Cryptic Axe has the highest damage capability out there. Great Poleaxe, again, has one of the highest damage capabilities out there. And Giant Thresher is just like the fastest, best like it's overall the best overall. So let's jump into each one of them individually so you can get a better understanding why they are where they are. We're going to start with the best and work our way to the worst. So the ones first are going to be the ones that we're talking about are the very best ones you should be going for. Now, before we jump into each one individually, I do want to make sure you guys have a reference point to work off of. This right here are the attack speed breakpoints for your Act II Mercenary with each individual weapon. You'll notice here the Giant Thresher and the Thresher, of course, have the fastest speed, aka it takes the least amount of attack speed to get to that next attack speed ticks, which is very important. Following them is going to be the Great Poleaxe, and then taking up the very rear is going to be the Cryptic Axe and the Colossus Vulge. Being the slowest, they're not able to get breakpoints like the other ones can, so if breakpoints are very important to you, use this sheet right here. It's a great reference. Hit the pause button, take a screenshot, whatever you want. These are the breakpoints, and they are very, very useful to have. Now, starting off, we are going to go to the most premium polearm out there for mercenaries, and that is going to be the 4-socketed ethereal Giant Thresher. So this has the fastest breakpoints you can find out there. It has better damage than the lower tier version of this, the regular Thresher. The Giant Thresher is amazing. It has, I think, some of the longest range as well, and attack speed is good for a couple different things. The faster the breakpoint, the more life leech hits you're going to do, but more importantly, the better and more chances you're going to have to get crushing blow proc. So if you have crushing blow on your mercenary, this speed is going to be the best for him to do the most damage out there. So even though he might have, this one might not have the most damage range compared to like a Great Poleaxe or a Cryptic Axe, the speed and crushing blow does make up for the difference. Now, typically a Giant Thresher will fluctuate in value, of course. Typically, if you do have one of these without any you know, superior enhanced damage, any of that stuff, is usually somewhere in the ohm to low range. Again, that can kind of tweak, but it stays right around that range. You could probably very easily get like a Vex Ist, Vex Gull, something like that, but you can most definitely get an ohm or a low if you are patient and find the right buyer. Now, of course, any of these that we talk about here, if they have enhanced damage on them, that's just going to make the value go up. If you have like a 15 ED one, oh, that's going to be a bear plus something like that. It's going to be very, very premium, very expensive. It might take a little while to sell because it's going to be for people really min-maxing out their mercenaries, but there are the people out there doing that. If you're on the forums, it's much easier to turn these over because there's a much larger population in game. It can take a little while, but if you are patient, you can most definitely get that. Now, the second most expensive one out there, a lot of people don't understand, is going to be the Great Poleaxe. And I know back when I used to play, I never even touched these. I never picked them up, and I didn't realize what I was missing. So a Great Poleaxe is amazing because it can still get those same breakpoints, but you do have to invest in a little bit more increased attack speed on your mercenary to get the same breakpoints as a Giant Thresher or a Thresher. The advantage being that it has a much better damage range, so even you can still get the same breakpoints, because it's not that much slower than a Giant Thresher or a Thresher, but it does have a much better average damage. I think a Giant Thresher is about 77 average damage. A Thresher is about the same, just under that. But a Great Poleaxe has about 86, 87 average damage on this. So it is a very, very powerful weapon. This one, again, is number 2, but again, it really depends on your build, what other armors and helmets and things like that. And of course, what you're socketing into everything too, as that will make a big difference. Now, a Great Poleaxe typically in value ranges anywhere from a Vex to an Ohm. Again, another very premium one. And of course, if you can get ED on it, it will be much, much more desired. Now, next up after that, the third most expensive one out there is just going to be the regular Thresher. Pretty much for the same exact reasons we said with the Giant Thresher. It just has a lower DPS output. A Thresher's value is typically going to go for right around a Vex. And again, like I said, they can go up a little, it can go down a little. But typically from what I've been seeing in the past month of sales, even though like on D2 JSP, the forum gold prices changed, the forum gold to rune value has stayed pretty steady right around a Vex. Now, this one is really good if you're looking to spend a bit, but not go overboard with like, you know, a Great Poleaxe or a Giant Thresher. A Thresher is a nice middle ground of, I want my Merc to be really good, but maybe not invest too much money into him. The Thresher is the perfect middle ground for that one. Now, next up after the Thresher, we are going to come to the Cryptic Axe. So the Cryptic Axe is essentially the most powerful one when we're talking about average damage. Its average damage is just about 91, 92 average damage. It has the best range out there, but the problem is it is one of the slowest and you cannot get the same breakpoint. So if you're really relying on Crushing Blow, this one's not going to be as great. If you're worried more about enhanced damage and your actual damage output, then the Cryptic Axe will be one of the best ones for you. Cryptic Axe typically ranges somewhere in the Ist to Gull value. It's solid. Sometimes you can get a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but it is a very solid one if you're looking for your Merc to do tons of damage, but not necessarily relying as much on Life Leech or Crushing Blow. Lastly, we come to Colossus Vulge. So this one here is just the bargain bin basement one. Typically this one is the lowest damage range out of the two between Cryptic Axe and Colossus Vulge. Technically the damage range is good, but again, it's slow. It just doesn't have much value. This is the discount version, and if you don't care about your Merc's damage, typically what you're going to go for. I mean, if you really don't care about the damage, you could probably go without Ethereal as well, but it typically goes for about a lem to pull. Again, it's very, very discount. Maybe early on in a ladder season, it might go for like an something like that, but again, it's not as desirable. And of course, all of these values are Ethereal only, for socket only. Do not talk about regular, not Ethereal, because most people that are trading don't care about it. If you find one that's not Ethereal, you can use it for yourself, but don't plan on it really selling for that much. So hopefully this kind of helped you guys out decide what items you should be hunting if you're looking to sell, and also which ones you should be using if you're looking to build your mercenary up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you disagree or agree or whatever? The prices are off. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to try to get the best information out there for players, because I see a ton of misinformation going around on Reddit. Thing I literally saw, what kind of motivated me to do this video was I saw a giant thread of people saying a 4OS giant or great poleaxe wasn't worth anything, and I'm like, oh my goodness, don't make this person throw away an ohm. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. If you are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We're going to be making a bunch more D2R content. I'd love your support. So thank you guys so far. I'll see you guys next time.